Hi, welcome to Staying Alive with
Anita,
and Kevin.
how you doing?
Glad to have you with us today. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, we are going to talk a little bit about food today.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Learn to cook in a different way.
Yes.
A lot different way as to compared to how I was raised. I was raised on a totally low-fat, basically high-carb eating style.
Yeah.
And we have totally changed that out.
To low carb, no carb, predominantly high fat diet.
Sometimes. Yeah. And our carbs really consist of vegetables.
Right.
That's just where we get them at, and we're really and truly, we don't count carbs.
No.
We try to keep them low, trying to do something that we can do for the rest of our life, I think.
Yeah.
And
So I tend to focus myself more on what I need to fuel from a nutrition aspect and maintain a fat adapted athlete stance.
right. And I just try to make it through the day. I guess I've been a dieter for so long in my life that my metabolism is really wacko, and it doesn't understand what I'm doing, and I feel like I've been more healing my body than I have been doing a lot of weight loss. I've lost probably 25 pounds, but
Right.
there are people in the world that have lost hundreds of pounds in the time that I've lost that. I guess I really do want this to be something that I can do forever.
Sure, yeah. And it, for me, made a huge difference in the way I felt after one early, extremely long endurance event as a standard carbohydrate athlete that we've talked about. I felt horrible for weeks, for months. Literally, I was ill, and that was kind of what started my search in a different direction. And I will say now, my recovery time is unbelievable compared to what it was before. And I haven't done a 24 or 36 hour event, but I've done some pretty long, physically grueling events. And within 48 hours, I'm back up and running again.
It's amazing to me how quickly you do recover. So
that's been just a phenomenal benefit. On top of I feel like I have a lot less inflammation. I sleep a lot better. Just really every aspect of my life I feel like has improved.
Right.
So, and we're not 100%. We don't do low carb, no carb every single day of the week, of the month, of the year. It runs in cycles a little bit. I know I'm a lot more loyal to it as I work up to an event. I work. My nutrition is tailored more along with my workout schedule for me.
Yeah. Well, I have found that I enjoy the fasting a little bit, and that's something we can talk about another day, but I do like to do the fasting, and that goes right along with the low carb. And the low carb makes it a lot easier to do the fasting.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Because your body's already there. It's already burning fat.
So my day starts with kind of a bulletproof style coffee.
Right. I think we both started doing that. Originally, we were both putting a lot of fat in, and that was mostly it, just fat and coffee and a little bit of stevia or sweetener or whatever. But now we've tweaked it to where it fits more of what we do.
Right.
And in yours, you've added a little bit of protein along with your fats, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
So I have, in my coffee in the morning, we put in some protein powder and some coconut.
Better flavored coconut oil.
Right.
Yeah.
And some MCT oil.
Right, right. And in mine, I just barely put a little bit of the better flavored coconut oil, almost a teaspoon, and then just a little flavor. So no sugar flavor.
Right.
And so that way I get the coffee in the morning, but I don't get a huge burst of the fat right away because I feel like my body needs to work on its own fat. It doesn't really need a lot of excess added to it. So, and that's a good way to start the day. And generally, if I have another coffee in the day, it's the same thing. I just do the same thing.
And then for lunch, I have a shake that is made up of.
It is a keto style shake that has a higher fat content. And then you also just do like a beef stick or something like that. So mostly it's just food. It's nothing chemical. It's just a real pure food product.
Nothing processed. Yeah.
You're-
What do you do for lunch though?
Lots of times I'll just do a coffee with nothing, which is a little bit of the coconut oil in it, just a little bit. Or if I'm really hungry, I'll fry a couple of eggs.
Okay.
That's probably my go-to thing, is I fry a couple of eggs.
Yeah.
So, and I like that a lot.
Okay.
So, and then at dinner time, we end up just usually having a salad or an avocado, and then
A lot of almost every night we
Right.
have an avocado.
right, and that's another go-to type thing is that avocado.
Yeah, and a lot of salad, and then we'll usually have a chicken or beef or
Some kind of meat.
Yeah.
So I think lots of times people think that keto eaters are crazy because they eat tons of bacon and tons of fat and tons of stuff like that. But most people that are really successful that I've seen don't really add a lot of fat to what they eat. They eat real food that has more fat in it. And so more fattier meats, the avocados, the nuts, the oils that you can cook in, and you gotta watch what oils you cook in because you don't want to smoke them by getting them too hot. But anyway, I think that mostly it's relatively easy. You don't do a lot of casseroles. I do have some recipes, some really good dishes that I like to do, but mostly it's pretty easy because it's just plain food.
well, and I found it interesting. The farther we've gone down this road, the more foods you've brought back in that we had abandoned, but we did it in a new style or a new way. So, let's talk about cauliflower
Right.
and how you've used cauliflower to replicate other dishes.
Right.
And this last weekend we had bagels, and they were amazing, but they wasn't really bagels.
They are really bagels, yeah. Yeah. But I think it's been long enough since we've had much flour products that having something that like that, it was really good. And the cauliflower, I like to use that in stir fries. It's like rice. And so there are ways to eat that.
Well, and you've used the cauliflower even in like a mac and cheese style dish that we've had.
Ooh, I might have to make that.
Yeah,
It's been
right?
a few days. We haven't
Yeah.
had that in a while, so gonna have to make that mac and cheese.
And the same thing with our desserts and our sweets. You've
Right.
made cheesecake and brownies and
Yeah.
Girl Scout peppermint cookies
Yeah, I know.
Once.
I know.
that were to die for,
Yeah.
and or one carb.
Right.
So
Right. One carb cookie.
Yeah.
So, and as with anything, I mean, you can go crazy and overeat anything.
Right.
But for some reason, eating this way, I don't crave the food that I craved before so much. Just as an example, with your company, you'd gone on a trip, and they had all of you nice gentlemen send candy to their wives, and not realizing that we didn't really eat candy and chocolate. It was a very nice gift from the company. I was really impressed with them, but I would have eaten that whole box before. And, you know, that's been, what, about a week? And I think I've eaten 3 pieces.
Yeah.
I don't crave it. It
Right.
doesn't sit in there and scream at me.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be a box of ice cream would scream at me until I ate the whole thing.
Oh, and that's a great point, because
Yeah.
you're right. I mean, the carbs are kind of a spiral. The more you eat, the more you want. The more you want, the more you eat.
Yes,
And
it's horrible.
it can get kind of ugly, and,
Yeah.
and the sugar's just as bad. It's taken me a huge amount of time to get to where I could break that sugar addiction and even walk in Quick Trip and not go straight to the soda cooler
Right.
and the candy rack,
Right.
just almost as a habit.
I know it, and it's really hard.
Yeah,
So.
but now it doesn't, it's taken a while, but yeah, now I don't even think about it when I go in.
Right, yeah. So we have some really great pictures of food that I've made along the way. I hope you enjoy. If there's anything that you enjoy, or if you see anything and you'd like to know the recipe, I would love to send you to the site that I get it from, because I don't create most of these. There are some wonderful people out there that are creating keto recipes, and they need credit for it.
Ton of stuff out there.
Oh yeah, ton. So it's so easy, and the longer we've done it, the better they're getting.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun to make up this stuff and have it come out really nice.
Yeah.
So. Comment below, subscribe to our channel, hit the little notification, and we'd love to hear from you.
No matter what, we always say start where you're at right now today.
That's right.
But get started.
And just learn it. Thanks.